There we go. Okay. Let's see. Number 50. Get my notes up here. Come on, Fantasy Grounds. There we go. Let's see. Number 50 is one we already did. Okay. Give us another roll. Racking.
Let's do 57.
57?
Yeah, that's my number.
Oh, it is, yes. All right. Well, actually, that's actually probably a good question for tonight. Let me get everybody written down here. All right. So, question of the night. Fitting. What makes you feel like a member of the team?
See, I'm not sure because I'm still not sure if I'm part of the team. I've just been tagging along for this portion.
Oh, you're part of the team.
Ah.
Yeah, just being welcomed in and not shunned as soon as I made Boo eat his weight in food.
I forgot about that. That was a good time.
That's right. Nice one. All right.
My fault.
Jinky, what about you? What makes you feel like a member of the team?
Honestly, I gotta agree. It's just the fact that she's accepted. You know, they don't abandon her anywhere.
All right. How about you, Mix?
The fact that everybody picks on me as much as Boo.
That's how you know your family. You all fuck with each other.
You're mean
Siblings.
because you love each other.
Exactly. All right. How about you, Zara? Oh, I saw it light up a little bit. There we go.
Okay. Can
Now I
you
hear
hear
it.
me?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay, it took me way too long to get these headphones set up. Sorry.
You're good. So yes, what makes you feel like a part of the team?
Honestly, the fact that everybody else looks as weird as I do.
That's so sweet.
Uh-uh.
I feel special.
There's a lot of really nice moments going on here.
All right, Boo. What makes you feel like part of the team?
Well, I mean, you know what? I'll say it because everybody else is pretending like it ain't a real thing. But you guys have seen how the last several encounters have worked out. I am the team. You're my entourage. And the fact that you guys continue to follow me while I carry you around and handle all the hard lift for everyone makes me feel like you want to be part of my team. And I'm proud to let you be part of my team.
That just makes Nick want to kill you.
Well, I'm glad you've admitted that you are going to take the lead in every single situation and you can just sit back and relax and follow.
Oh,
There
oh
might be some
man.
betrayal tonight. That's all I'm gonna say.
That was good. That was
Just
real
opened
good.
a big old can of worms.
Holy
It was
moly.
a good answer, though.
That was a really good answer.
It was a very Boo answer.
Yes, it was.
Hey, Isaac. Hey, Smiler. All right. So, I know it's been a little bit since we had, Christmas and all that stuff. But does anyone remember what happened last time?
Other than me falling asleep.
You did fall asleep, yep.
We joined a fight club.
I'm gonna apologize because like you were like, you got to come up with names for your fight club, and I was like, well, what? So I'm sorry, I don't remember much of last session. I have notes, but I'm waiting.
Not at
for
the moment,
Jessica.
Isaac. They're all upstairs.
That's literally the only thing I remember from last session.
All right.
Well,
So,
we stalked the one guy that was coming in and out of the bar. He turned into some type of creature. I planned on killing him or beating him up at least, but y'all stopped me.
yes, you did get into some shenanigans there. So, at the beginning of the session, you were finishing up your dealings down in the sewers. You were going after whatever was going on with the chicken shop. And Boo was almost about to make some deals with an imp for his soul, with Honest Bob. But it didn't turn out happening in the end there. But you got all that sorted out, and we spent some time back at the tavern hanging out and just kind of getting some quality time in with the patrons of the tavern, and went off on a little tangent there where Torda and Boo got suspicious of Vincent Trench and what was going on with him because he kept leaving like on regular intervals. And you guys kind of staked out his house, well, his house / office for his private investigation firm, and found that he seems to go into his house, turns into some sort of enormous creature, and uses some sort of spell to undo that and go back to the form that you are most familiar with, Vincent Trench looking like. But doesn't seem particularly harmful. I mean, at least from when you were about to have him drink some sleep juice and decided not to. At least the way he described it was that he had a medical condition or something. But it didn't seem like it was anything dangerous. And so you guys let him off the hook there. And then you had some information from Mert, because you've been trying to kind of go after this mind flayer that's been causing problems with some of the city officials and things like that. And he had kind of a lead for you that there was some way to get into like some sort of Xanathar hideout under some estate in the North Ward that some people from the guild ran like a fight club out of. And so you guys headed over to like the meet point where they kind of like pick up people who want to be involved. And they took you back to the place, brought you inside the Taras estate, where at the moment it was kind of the pre-show snack time of sorts. Everybody's just kind of cavorting about and eating tons of food. And you were ushered in by this kind of tall tiefling named Kelm, and he kind of brought you inside and took your names down that you were being in here, split you into the two teams with Jinku and Boo and Mix. Sorry, Jinku and Mix and Boo and Torda. And Zara, since you weren't all there at the end of the particular stream, you kind of slipped in on your own into the crowd here, so you're not signed up for the ring, but you are still just kind of around, um, keeping an eye out on things among the crowd and whatever it is you plan on doing. We'll find out what that is. But yeah, last we left, we were pretty much just finishing up the pregame, and yeah, that's where we're at. So, with that, so you guys are all chilling still in this Taras estate. There's quite a motley crew of people around you. of all types. Some of them finer dressed, some of them pretty rough and tumble. And eventually there comes an announcement from kind of the back of this kind of great hall of sorts in this estate that the proceedings are going to be starting soon, and to make your way to the ring. And so the crowd kind of slowly makes their way towards kind of the back of this hall. It seems like a lot of people already kind of know where they're going, and the rest, if they don't, are probably just kind of following the crowd. And they make your way through this door that, at least from what you see, like when you're walking into it here, seems to be normally hidden behind like a bookshelf or something of that sort. Like it seems like there's been a bookshelf that's been pushed away to the side, and this door leads down, and you can see behind here these kind of candlelit stone steps leading downwards below the main kind of estate buildings. And so you head down here. It goes down for a little farther than you expect. Like it doesn't go down just like one level to like a basement. It goes down like probably 2, maybe 3 stories. So it seems to be fairly deep under the house, perhaps to kind of reduce the noise leakage to the outside. But you eventually find yourself, you come out of these stairs and you find yourself in kind of a large underground chamber. And all around the edges of the chamber, you have this kind of nice boardwalk that goes all the way around the edges. And there's like a couple tiers, like 2 tiers of stone, uh, kind of amphitheater type seats that go around some of the edges. And then in the middle of this, it's just kind of large sandy area. And you can see that there's been a large kind of square marked out. There's posts holding up these kind of cables around the edges here. You can see a couple kind of rough seats in 2 of the corners. The like sand and kind of dirt and like mixed earth that's kind of in the middle of this ring. You can see kind of visible stains in the dirt of blood and who knows what else. Uh, a lot of them seem to have been there a while. And everybody starts kind of milling into this room. You can see kind of on the far side of the room. Let me get you an image here of what you're looking at. Might take a moment to load up. It's a little big. There we go. So in here, you can also kind of see down at the southern end of this large central room, there's kind of a small bar of sorts. There's a few tables. You see a few of the patrons kind of heading over that way. There's a kind of a portly dwarf serving alcohol from behind the bar over there. But they all start to get kind of ready. And as you're, kind of looking around, as the crowd mills about, you see this tiefling that had let you in. You kind of make your way over to you, and he seems to be holding kind of like a notepad or some sort of writing utensil. And he walks up to you all and says, "So, welcome to the Bloodshot Eye. I believe it is your first time tonight. Is that correct?"
Yes.
Good, because always nice to have fresh meat, as it were, in the ring. The patrons love to see it. See a newcomer. Well, of course, as he assigned you the teams earlier, have you managed to come up with the name for yourselves? It goes good to get the patrons riled up when they have a team to cheer for. What can I put you 2 groups down as here?
Well, my good friend Torta and I, being how we pretty much run everything here, we're the businessmen.
The businessman. All right. You can see him kind of scribbling this down on his little notepad here. All right, and he turns to you, Jinku, and Mixon says, "And you 2."
Nix is just going to cross his arms and look at him. We're lethal weapons.
Yes, I think you'll find many of those here. Good choice. Good choice. And he notes this down in his notepad as well. And you see him kind of head over to kind of the far western side of the room down here, and kind of right where it goes into that hall to the west, like right on the wall, is a very large piece of slate on the wall, and it looks to have kind of a roughly drawn with chalk bracket of sorts up on the wall, and he starts filling in the names of the far left bracket slots. It looks like there are 8 slots tonight. And you see in the first bracket up at the top, you see him write Savage Beasts, and then below that, The Businessmen. And then for the next pairing, you see Prismatic Fists, and then The Knife Tongues. And then the third bracket, Togruk Weak Eater, and The Birds of War. And then lastly, in the fourth bracket, Lethal Weapons and The Breaker. And he gets these all written up there on the wall. And as he's doing this, some of the other patrons around, like they see him, as he kind of writes some of these down, the patrons are variously cheering and jeering as things go up there. The knife tongues in particular seem to get some pretty loud cheers and whoops from some of the people in the crowd, as well as Togruk Weak Eater. And then you kind of also hear some murmurings, like under people's breath, about the breaker. Some people seem to be kind of frightened of him, or wary of him. We aren't able to get too much more of a read than that. So as things are getting set up here, what are you guys doing down here as things are getting set up? Patrons are milling about. What are you guys doing among the crowd here? Especially you, Zyara. What are you up to? Because you've managed to kind of keep yourself off from the rest of the group to kind of make it look like you're not all together here. What have you been doing here?
I think Zyara is pretty much like trying to just pretend like she's a normal patron and maybe like talk to other patrons to gather information about the other teams.
Okay. Let's see. So let's see here. So you kind of go around, kind of talking it up with some of the patrons here. At one point, you kind of find yourself at one of the tables on the southern end of the room here. And at this table, you see there's kind of a rough-looking female orc who seems to be kind of spinning a dagger, kind of like on its point on the table, just kind of playing with it in her fingers here, as well as a couple of humans, and they're kind of talking amongst themselves as you walk up to them here. And the female orc kind of looks you over and says, "Haven't seen you around these parts."
No, I'm just visiting the city and heard about this lovely establishment.
Well, if you're here for entertainment, the Bloodshot Eye is the place to be.
It would seem so. I don't suppose you have a favorite team.
And they kind of look over at each other here. And she says, "Well, I mean, of the ones that are here tonight, I particularly like the prismatic fists. Their fighting style kind of appeals to me. I like to get in close and get people right up in the jaw. And they kind of appeal to me there. They aren't really known to use any weapons. They always just straight fists. And man, those fists, they hit hard, they hit deadly.
I can see how that would be effective. It's hard to block against something when it's right in your face.
Well, yes, of course.
I don't suppose you're familiar with any other teams to watch out for. I'm curious who to root for.
Well, if you're looking for someone to, place a bet on, I guess, make a little money here tonight. I mean, you can't really go wrong betting on Togurk Weekeater. As far as I'm aware, I don't think he's lost a match.
Quite impressive. What was the one that you said people were whispering about?
The Breaker.
Now, I've heard whispers from other patrons about someone called the Breaker. I don't suppose you know anything about him.
Roll a. Roll a persuasion check for me, I guess. Okay. So she kind of looks you over
That's
here.
the wrong one.
Oh, whoops, that is the wrong one. Well, that's a little better.
I
So
was gonna say I have a +7 in persuasion.
so she kind of looks you over here and she says, "Well, to tell you the truth, I don't think most any of us really know what he is. Like that, I think I've only seen him fight once before, and it kind of boggles the mind, I must say. He comes out there in the ring, and then moments later, it's just over, and nobody sees what happens. It's quite mysterious."
How fascinating. I do love a good mystery. Well, I thank you for the information. I think I'm going to go find somewhere to place a bet. Have a good night.
Yes. Hope your stay goes well here at the Bloodshot Eye. Oh, and if you're looking to place a bet, you can always just talk to Callan. He takes care of all the runnings around this place.
Good to know.
All right. So do you like head off for Callan or something then? Trying to find where he's at?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you manage to find Callan. He's actually not too far away from you. He's just a couple tables over. Seems to be chatting up with a few of the kind of finer dressed patrons here. And he sees you coming up here and says, "Ah, hello. I don't remember you coming in. What can I assist you with?"
Oh, I was just looking to place a couple bets.
Ah, yes, and his eyes light up, and he gets his little notepad out here, and he says, "Yes, of course. What kind of wagers are you looking to make here tonight?"
Who did you say the matchups were?
Sure. The matchups are the Savage Beasts versus the Businessmen, the Prismatic Fists versus the Knife Tongues, Togruk Weak Eater versus the Birds of War, and Lethal Weapons versus the Breaker.
So Zyara is gonna put 2 gold each on the prismatic fists and the businessman and crap.
The other
The
fight,
Weak Eater.
Togrick Weak Eater. Okay.
Yeah. 2 gold on him to win. And then before she addresses the last matchup, she is going to ask Keln if he has any information on the Breaker because she's never heard of him before.
And Kellen kind of smiles a bit there and says, "Well, I can certainly tell you a bit about the Breaker, but if you're setting up bets at the moment, I'm afraid I'm not going to give you any insight into that. That's your own call to make, I'm afraid. I can't be brokering the bets around here and giving people inside information, you see."
Oh, I'm not looking for inside information. I'm looking more for what his stats are. How many of his matches has he won?
Well, I mean, so far he's only been here for, well, one other match, and that one he won.
And what of the other team he's up against, the Lethal Weapons?
Well, the Lethal Weapons, I believe this is their first time here tonight. We just got them added to the list not a few moments ago, so I'm afraid I can't really say. We'll have to see how they fare.
Then I suppose it's just up to Lady Luck then.
Yes, I suppose it is.
Well then, I'll just take a mystery bet and I'll put a gold down on Lethal Weapons.
Okay.
She doesn't want to seem to favor her party members too much to make it seem like she's like,
Yeah, clearly.
in on it, you know? Hey, she put 2 gold down on the businessman.
Yeah, you should put 2 on Jinku. Jinku's a better fighter.
Jinku is a better fighter, but, you know.
They don't know you know me.
But she doesn't want them to know that you know her.
Do you
I'm
have a
all hunched
name?
over from carrying you, Jinku, telling me you're the better fighter.
I was going to say, do you have the demonic frog, 10-armed demonic frog name? Come on.
I am a giant ass elephant.
Yeah,
Yeah, but just because you have a giant ass doesn't make you a good fighter.
how about this, Jinku? Zyara will buy you so many pocket peanuts with her winnings.
How many pocket peanuts?
Like an 8-pound bag worth of pocket peanuts.
Not bad.
Jinku's eyes get really, really big. She says, "Okay, you got a deal."
Zyara likes the fact that 2 of her party members are easily bribed by food.
All right. Well, we'll assume that conversation happened away from the deal broker. But you know, as you finish putting these bets in with Keln, you know, he asks, "And what weight multiplier are you looking to do on these wages, or on these wagers?"
Isn't it the bookie who determines that usually?
I don't know how
Yeah,
this. I don't know how that works. I've never done that.
the bookie determines
Yeah,
the odds.
they like
Oh.
set the odds themselves. You just put money down on who you think is gonna win.
Ah,
so, like,
okay.
She bet like 2 gold on the businessman, and so like there's some sort of odds that the businessmen are going to win or lose.
Okay.
Say it's
so,
like
like-
10-1, and we win, then she gets 20 gold.
Ah,
Hey,
okay.
don't quit your day job to be a bookie, because clearly you would be good at it.
I literally know jack shit about how bookies work, so there we go. We'll go with that.
I don't think
In a
Moog
boxing
has
ring, an
placed a
unknown
bet in his
fighter
life.
against a known fighter would be 20 to 1 odds.
20 to 1. Okay, we'll go off those amounts. So here, one sec. Give me a second to write up some odds for these people because I did not even consider that. So
So in other words, if you guys win your matches, Zyara is gonna be just like real happy at the end of the night.
Be rolling in those pocket peanuts.
okay.
Before you come up with the odds, though,
Yeah,
just
go
to
ahead.
be like, can I place a wager on me and he's gonna ask somebody, the tiefling near him?
Yeah. All right. Well, certainly. Well, we certainly allow for the contestants themselves to try to bet on their own or bet on others. You're more than welcome to participate. What can I put you down for?
He's gonna pull out. He's gonna be like, well, I may die, so might as well go out. Here's 25 gold that I have on me. On me
Ooh.
and my partner.
By the way, Moog, I put a helpful visual in the chat for one of the teams.
Oh, hold on. Well, that I will tell you that is a very accurate visual for that team. You stole the visual I was going to post later, but all right.
Yeah, I kind of sensed the Sunny reference while you said it, and I was like, nope, gonna steal his
Damn
thunder.
it, I was hoping you wouldn't. Ah, well, that's still going to be great anyways. All right, so 25 gold on the businessman.
Oh no, not on the businessman.
Oh.
On lethal weapons.
Oh, and lethal weapons.
I'm gonna kill them.
We are gonna kill them.
All right, 25 gold lethal weapons. So he takes your gold and kind of looks you up and down and says, "My, certainly confident in your own abilities, I must say. Hopefully that pays off for you."
Mix is just gonna shrug nonchalantly. He goes, "You only live once."
Yes, that is true. Well, thank you, sir. You best go freshen up in the lockers to the west so that you're ready to go when your match comes up. But of course, you guys are fourth down in the brackets, so it's still a little bit before you have to do that. So feel free to mingle about and enjoy the other matches, of course.
Does one of the other party members still have the sending stone?
Sure do.
Porta does. So Zyara is going to kind of find a place that isn't like around anyone that works there.
Okay.
And she's kind of going to relay the information telepathically to Torta that she was able to get for some of the other teams, especially that the Breaker seems to be highly mysterious and very feared by the other patrons.
It's gonna
Okay.
look very odd with Twitter grabbing the stone and yelling thanks at it.
Well, I mean,
Torta,
amongst
Torta thinks
You don't have
very
to yell into this
intensely.
thing. I've told you a few times. You don't have to yell. You just talk into it like this. And I'll lean forward and I'll be like, Zyara?
I mean, technically speaking, you don't even have to talk into it. It's telepathic.
It's
Yeah, but I
telepathic.
understand Torta's intelligence level. I'm working with what I got.
Okay, fair. That's
So-
fair.
So yeah, I'll be like, Torta, stop yelling. It's giving me a headache, and I'm trying to concentrate on how to keep you alive here.
Well, now Boo has the information as well. And it's up to Boo if he wants to share that with Nix and Jinku.
Damn, I chose the wrong partner.
Oh no.
Yes, you did.
Actually, I didn't choose. I kind of just got stuck with him.
Yeah, you got voluntold by the organizer.
Can I see Jinku and Mix?
Yeah, I mean, you guys can all see each other because, like, at the moment, it's still kind of everybody milling about in here, just kind of, kind of continuation of what was going on upstairs, like more drinking, and kind of riling themselves up for the coming entertainment violence.
Cool. I'm gonna occasionally, very surreptitiously, use message to remind them that they're going to die down here while using different voices. Just every couple minutes, I'll point at one of them and just, you're gonna die down here.
To one of the other party members?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they're competition. They're not party members. Tortoise my party member right now.
This sounds like vicious mockery, but with extra steps.
Yeah, well, this
Yeah, it
doesn't do
does.
damage. It damages your soul.
It just
And
damages your soul.
So as soon as Boo does this, Mix is gonna mind link with him, but not give him the ability to speak back, and constantly distract him and talk to him in his mind about how he's looking so forward to seeing his entrails on this battlefield. And he's just gonna talk constantly. He's not gonna shut up telepathically.
And while this is happening, Jinku's just standing there eating peanuts.
They're good. They're good concession food to watch the entertainment.
Yeah.
Jinku came well prepared. Good choice.
Well, yeah, she never goes anywhere without snacks. Duh.
Exactly.
Can anyone else not hear Moog?
Yeah, I
It
wasn't sure
just
if that was
worked for
just
me,
me.
too.
Yeah, can't hear Moog at all. That's sad because he was like had his arms all wide. It looked like a really good one.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, we haven't been able to hear
Yeah.
you since Jinku stopped talking about pocket peanuts.
Damn it! I raised my hand and it pulled the cord of my headphones out. All right, so let me
You
do.
need to calm down then.
All right, so let's do that again. So, Jinku's got her pocket peanuts. Things are good. Got snacks. We're gonna watch a movie. And so,
Well, Jara is gonna watch a movie.
yeah, Ciara's gonna watch a movie. So, everybody in the club is getting down and starting to get kind of more organized around the ring for the upcoming fights. And so people are kind of starting to take seats in these little kind of stone amphitheater steps that you see around there. Other ones are kind of up around, kind of closer to the ring, cheering, jeering, just kind of getting themselves hyped up. And you see Keln, you kind of walk over in front of the kind of hallway to the west there. And you hear like a little kind of sound of a bell. And he raises his arms wide to the crowd and says to you all, "Welcome to tonight's fight at the Bloodshot Eye." And as he says this, these flags, or these kind of banners, unfurl on either side of the doorway here. And they both have like that kind of familiar now symbol of like Xanathars, with like the circle with the spokes. Except like this one is all colored red. And there's like other kind of like red kind of squiggly lines in the middle kind of like a bloodshot eye would be. So he's unfurl on the banners behind him, and the crowd's like cheering and kind of going wild a bit here at this. And he says, "For tonight's first match, we have a newcomer." And you hear the crowd kind of alternately cheering, and some of them are going, "Boo!" And he says, "We have the Savage Beasts, who have been with us a few times before. And our newcomer team tonight, the Businessmen." And again, cheers and jeers from the crowd. And so, Boo, you and Torta, kind of leading up to this. I guess I forgot to mention this. This is when my microphone was out. So you have all been Boo and Torta since the first match has you guys up. Kellen kind of led you back to these rooms in the back here. So like he had you in the southern room here to kind of get ready, and assumedly the other team was in the other room. I don't know if there was anything in particular that you were wanting to do to get ready beforehand while you were in that room, while all this was going on as he was starting the things out there.
Sort of just polished his fist.
I was
Polishes.
created ready.
All right. And so Torta, you and Boo are here in the room, and you hear, Kellen out there call out the Savage Beasts, and like you hear the sound of this door opening, the other door, the other room opening, and those of you who are out there still, so Jinku and Sarah and Mix, you see coming out from the hallway behind Keln. Let me get these in. What looked to be a fairly ordinary looking badger and a raven, kind of flying along beside it. And both of them are wearing little hats. One of them has kind of the badger has kind of a fez on, and the raven has a tiny wizard hat. And they both come out here. The badger standing on his hind legs and walking on his hind legs as he comes out, and the little raven just kind of swooping behind him here. And they come out into the ring and go to the one corner, and the crowd is cheering them as they come out here. You see like this badger, he kind of easily gets down on all fours, goes under the ring cables, and comes back up on the other side. And you can see him kind of like pumping up the crowd with his little badger paws. And this bird is kind of swooping around, or the raven's kind of swooping around above him here, doing like little tricks in the air. And the crowd continues to kind of cheer and go wild. And then Callan, he's pointing out his other hand, and you hear him yell out, "To businessmen!" And so, Torta, Boo, this is assumedly your time to shine. How do you make your entrance?
How tall is the ceiling?
The ceiling in here? I'd say the ceiling down here, at least for like the big room, is probably a good like 15, 16 feet tall. And then like the rooms back here where you guys are, like the hallway and the rooms that you guys are in, is probably maybe like a 9, 10-foot ceiling.
All right. Once we get out the hallway, I'm gonna grab Boo, do the frog leap of doom right into the middle of the ring, and just bellow, "The businessmen are here!" and set Boo down. Sorry, buddy, I should have asked.
That's a hell of an entrance.
And I'll say,
To do business.
So you're like leaping like all the way out from like the hallway, just like all the way across into the ring
Yeah,
or something.
good, 25 feet, up to 25 foot high and 25 foot wide.
Nice, very nice. Oh, whoops. Oh, that's why
Ooh,
they're
he grew.
that's why they're so big. I didn't set the grid on this map. Oopsies. Hold on.
I run into being larger than expected a lot. Because I'm fat.
Oof. All right, let me hold on. Let me do
Don't
the.
say things like that when I'm eating. I choked on a pretzel.
Let me get this grid here real quick.
So many innuendos.
There we go. All right. There's him. There's him. And then we got Boo and Torta. There we go. So yeah, so you do this flying leap out and land in the middle of the ring here. You do your shout with the business spin here. And at first, like when you both land, there's like a moment of kind of stunned silence from the crowd as you come, leaping 25 feet across the room here. And then a couple of the drunks that are kind of sitting right kind of in your corner there, like just a couple of them start laughing and cheering, being like, "Yeah, that was awesome, woo!" And so you guys kind of get ready here. You guys are getting pumped up on your little seat here in the corner, and so Kellen walks up to the edge of the ring here and looks at you both, Tortaboo, and looks at the other two across the way, and raises his hand, and then yells, "Fight!" And so, Boo, Torta, go ahead and roll initiative for me. All right. So, Torta, it looks like you are up first in the round order. What are you doing?
I look at Boone, tell him you take the flyer and just jump again as high as possible. I can cover 35 feet, so
Yeah.
we're gonna come down with a triple smack on the Badger.
All right. All right. So Torta
I'm gonna
comes.
just turn around to the guys in the crowd that were cheering and just flex for them.
Nice, very nice. All right, so you come down, these three fists pummeling down on this badger here, who takes the blows, but seems surprisingly resilient for as far as you can tell, a really pretty ordinary looking badger aside from the hat. And he kind of reels back from these. You kind of bounce him off the little cables on the back here. You hear some of the crowd going, "Oh!" as you lay into him here. Boo, you are up next.
I'm gonna sit down on the ground, and I'm gonna scratch my familiar's head behind the ears. He likes it, like a dog, kind of like how I like it. And then just kind of wave my hand in the direction of the raven
Okay.
as an afterthought,
Okay.
and cast magic missile at him with my wand.
Okay.
So, trying to see how many charges. 7 charges. I'll cast it with 6 charges.
6 charges. All right. Go ahead and roll that up. All right.
There's 6 charges.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, so these magic missiles, all 6 of these, come spreading out of you here as you cast this. A couple oohs and ahs from the crowd as this comes across, and each of them striking this little bird here, which manages to stay in flight, but it's definitely kind of tossed around a bit as these missiles strike this raven. As that last one hits there, this badger. Torda, you hear this here as you've been kind of up in his face. You're hearing this kind of low, gravelly, kind of disjointed speech. Him say, "You hurt friend," and he kind of rears back and lets out this kind of unholy badger scream and tears into you, Tortum, with his claws. Let's see here. Three times. Manages to hit you once out of those 3. Dealing 11 damage to you. He gets a, dig one of his, long badger claws, digs into you here, and you see him kind of let out like another roar here as he, sees that he connected with you. And you see some of like the fans in the crowd, cheering at this blow back at you. And then this little raven, it's kind of, still hovering in the air here, kind of shakes itself off a little bit from the damage that you had done to it. And it flies across the ring over here in your direction, Boo. And as it gets close to you here, it kind of lets out this like scrah and like flaps both of its wings on like either side of your face. And casts Burning Hands at you, Boo. And you find like both sides of your face, like both of your cheeks are feeling a little seared as this raven's wings kind of flap at your direction here. So that brings us to those of you in the crowd. So Zara, Jinku, Mix, this is going on. Your friends are beating up and getting beaten on here. Now, what sort of things are you guys doing in the crowd, with the crowd, the other things you're doing? Just to give you some like ideas of things you could do, you could try, interacting with the crowd here, like hyping them up, trying to interfere with the match in some way. You could, let's see. Try, doing things like distractions. The book's kind of open for you guys in the crowd at the moment. Mix, Jinku, and Zara on what you want to do with the match or with the crowd to try to sway things.
I think Zayara is kind of just trying to blend in with the crowd at the moment.
Okay.
And maybe try and get people to like be hyped up and cheer for Torta.
Okay. All right, sounds good. And Jinku, Mix, what are you guys doing?
Jinku's probably kind of cheering along. Maybe not, rooting for anybody in particular, but she genuinely is enjoying the event. She likes fighting.
Okay. Mix, you up in any shenanigans?
Always.
Well, no, Mixie's just gonna be laughing after seeing Boo get his face burnt.
Fair enough. All right. So, let's see. So, as you guys are all sitting out here in the crowd, I guess whereabouts? And let me put your tokens here on the map. You guys, you three. Go ahead and position yourselves whereabouts around this ring you think you would be sitting. Okay. All right. So, as things are kind of going into the next round here. Zayara, you notice, or like you're kind of standing there towards the edge of the ring, and you find it looks like an empty bottle of some sort of alcohol lying next to you on the ground. Do you do anything with this?
Well, now you make me feel like I should.
Well, you pick up this bottle here, kind of looking it over, and it's kind of a fancy alcohol bottle. It's actually pretty nice. Like the glass that the bottle is made of kind of seems to have like a shimmery gold tint to it, almost.
I think she might like hold it.
Okay, sure.
She thinks it's neat.
Okay. All right. So
Come
that.
on, Zara. You know the right thing to do. It's an empty bottle. You recycle it.
All right. So that brings us.
Shine a light on it, make the sparklies distract people. I don't know.
Hey,
So-
that's not a bad idea.
all right. So that brings us back around to the top. Boo, your face has gotten a little toasty here. Those ravens kind of making circles around your head here in the corner. What are you doing?
I'll cast Toll the Dead on it.
Okay. Cast it. Gong. All right. It fails that save. Go ahead and roll. Nice. All right. So this toll of toll of the dead, rings out, and you see this raven kind of falter in the air there as this little bell tone goes off, and that brings us to Torta. So this badger took a good dig at you with one of its claw strikes here. What are you doing?
Gonna croak and flex again for the crowd, kind of looking around at everybody.
Okay.
And then lay the smackdown 3 more times.
All right, lay that smack down. Ooh, 1. Ooh, miss. Oh, and another miss. All right, so you once again come raining your fists on here. The first one strikes. Again the crowd. Oh, and you take a couple other swings, and this badger manages to kind of drop down on all fours quickly as your fists are coming in here, and manages to dodge away from these here. And you kind of hear some of the crowd, going ooh, and a couple of the other people in the crowd starting to laugh. Which brings us to the badger here, who dropped down on all fours here, and he kind of quickly brings himself back up, with both of his claws striking at you at the same time as he does. Ooh. Striking at you again several times, hitting once critically, missing, and then hitting again. So that first hit, as he kind of stands back up, bringing both his claws back up into standing position, he kind of rakes up both of your sides with his claws as he gets this critical hit on you. And you see a couple of the people that are in the front row right behind you guys, maybe get a couple splatters of. What color is your blood, Torta?
It's blue.
It's blue. Okay. All right, so you see a couple of the people in like the front row. This kind of wince a bit as they get hit with this kind of weird blue blood coming out of you here, and they're kind of like, oh, and second strike misses. Like as he's kind of standing back up, it seems like this badger, he knows how to kind of get around on two legs, but maybe he's not fully familiar with it. So the second strike, as he's like gotten back up quickly, he tries to strike at you again, a little off balance, misses, but then he brings his other hand back around, smacks you again here for a bit more damage. All right, that brings us to the Raven, who, again, is still swooping around Boo here. And you see it kind of pull a little bit back from you, Boo. And you see it kind of shimmer a little bit. You see kind of a bit of a shimmer effect coming around it here as it flies, maybe about 7 or 8 feet above your head. And it kind of just stays hovering up there. And you see every once in a while, you kind of see this faint shimmer going on behind it here. Jinku, Mix, Sarah, what are you guys doing out there in the audience?
I'm still just watching and enjoying.
All right. Mix,
I
Sarah.
could theoretically heal them, couldn't I?
Hey, technically you could, surreptitiously.
I have a distance healing.
You could. It's an underground fight club. Do it sneaky enough, no one's going to know.
Okay, then I'm gonna cast Prayer of Healing on Porta and Boo.
Okay. Nice. So is that like split between the two of them then?
No, that would be for each.
Oh, for each. Oh, nice. All right. If that didn't apply, it doesn't look like it applied automatically. So yeah, Torta, Boo.
No, I don't have them selected.
Oh, okay. That's okay. We can just have them apply that manually. So, like, as you're, getting wailing on these awakened animals here, you suddenly feel like kind of a surge of strength and health kind of come back to you a bit. Like, Boo, out of the corner of your eye, you see, Zara's kind of mumbling something under her breath, and as you feel this kind of effect wash over here, and you feel a little bit better than you did. Your face doesn't feel quite as hot as it did a moment ago. And the rest of the crowd, let's see. So the rest of the crowd, like as this is going on, you see an old man he's kind of sitting a little farther up than you, Zara, because kind of older gentleman. He was kind of sitting on the edge of like the front row there, and Zara, you'd kind of seen him kind of heavily drinking out of this tankard that he had with him, and you see him stand up suddenly, and almost like quicker than you would expect, rips all of his clothes off, jumps into the ring, and starts like running around the ring in a circle kind of in the middle, kind of madly laughing to himself, stumbling over himself. Guy's clearly absolutely toasted. And, the crowd is just absolutely going wild at this nude old guy just streaking.
Does he pass within 5 feet for attack of opportunity?
He would. At a point, he does pass within 5 feet of you, Torta, as this drunk guy is just kind of cavorting around nude, streaking your match.
I'm gonna just backhand him.
All right.
Oh,
Go,
not the badger. My bad.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and untarget the badger. It just roll like a d20 for me or something. We'll just take whatever. I'll add your modifier, but we'll just take whatever it is.
Modifier is a 9.
Not 9. Okay, yeah, that definitely hits this guy. He's not too difficult to hit. Like he's kind of dodging and weaving again. He's got a bit of the drunken, master going on, weaving around in here. But you do manage to get a fist on him as he goes past you here.
I don't have the badger targeted. I don't understand.
Oh, weird. I'll fix it. All right. So this
Or don't fix it and keep the damage.
magical
Maybe-
backhand damage
Maybe
reverberates.
the old man kicked the badger on his way past him.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, everybody's distracted.
Mm-hmm.
Mix is gonna pull out his blowgun and target the badger and try to put a dro dart in the badger.
Oh, good use of that.
Boy.
Okay. Go ahead and roll whatever you need to roll for that. Ooh. All right, so Mix, as everybody's kind of distracted by this streaker, you see Torta kind of get an arm out and kind of clothesline the guy with his backhand that he's doing. And, you kind of surreptitiously load a dart into your blowgun here and try to fire it across the thing here. And it flies that way, but it just kind of it's right into the sand, kind of beside the badger there.
Oh, just say it ends up in the old man's butt. That'd be hilarious.
All right, we'll go with that. Why not? That is a good. It does end up in the old man's butt. He's already down for the count at the account of Torta's backhand, but now he is definitely out for the count with this.
Which is slightly as the dart hits his ass.
Right. So as he goes down, you see Kellen kind of motioning to some others, people that are working here to kind of they step in for a moment and kind of drag the guy out of the ring and kind of motion to you all to continue. Which brings us again to Boo. You're up.
Yeah, I'll just toll the dead on this raven again. I'm still just scratching my familiar's ears, and this is kind of an afterthought.
Okay. Is that doesn't do anything on a success, right? Or
Nope,
does that?
It's a cantrip.
It's a cantrip. Okay. All right. Which brings us to the awakened badger here, who again roars, and he kind of lunges in your direction again, Torta, with his claws, striking you twice this time, and misses both times. You manage to kind of deftly step out of his way here. Your senses kind of heightened by this drunk guy suddenly stumbling into the match. You're just on top of it. Which brings us to Torta.
All right, we're gonna go back to pounding on this little son of a gun.
All right. Nice. Ooh. How does that look? How does this punch look? How are you taking this badger down?
Oh man, we're gonna do the leaping 25-foot slam fist right on its head.
Oh,
Smash its skull.
nice. All right. So Torta, you leap up into the air, and you see that like as you get up there in the air, you can see like every eye in the crowd is like on you as you go upwards, and you have your fist out and just come smashing down this badger. It is out, and the crowd goes absolutely bonkers at this, and this badger is down, and you see this little raven. It's its turn now. It kind of lets out this screech of rage, and it comes diving at you, Torta. And you see its it's
Oh, was the Raven within attack of opportunity range for me?
it was about 7 or 8 feet up in the air, so I don't know
Okay, never mind then.
if you can reach
It's
that.
5 feet is attack of opportunity range.
Okay, yeah, he was above you. So he comes diving like right towards you. As he's getting close to your face, you can see like the tips of his wings kind of starting to glow a little bit. Looks like he's trying to give you another burn, and looks like you managed to save against that and managed to get out of the way before that strikes. Zara, Jinku, Mix, you guys doing anything? Tortoise just taking out this badger.
Yeah, I'll say to the person next to me, "Oh, it's too bad. He had a cute little hat," and I'll offer the stranger next to me some peanuts.
The stranger kind of laughs and says, "Well, at this rate, you probably could grab it after the match."
That's
Mix
true.
is just gonna casually load another dart in his gun.
Okay.
With it in his pocket.
Put it in his pocket. Okay, cool. Zara, are you doing anything?
I think Zaire is gonna cast Minor Illusion
Okay.
and make like sparkly lights appear right in front of the raven's face.
Okay. All right. So you cast a minor illusion, and these little kind of sparkly lights show up, and almost immediately you see this raven is very distracted by these little shiny lights. You see it kind of, quizzically, like kind of turning its head about as much as it can in the air. It's still kind of like swooping around, making little circles around Torta above him here. But he keeps kind of like turning his head and looking at them. He can't seem to be pulled away from these shinies. And the crowd.
The power of shinies.
The power of shinies. All right, so while this is going on, you see up on like the northern end of the ring, you see a couple of the patrons here kind of start getting into a little bit of a fight with each other. One of them seems to be have been rooting for the Savage Beasts, but isn't feeling so good about his odds now. And some other guy who I guess had bet on the businessmen is feeling pretty happy about the way things are going with this fight right now, and they're getting into a minor tussle over on the top of the ring there. So, Torta, it is now your turn. This Raven, let me move him actually, he's over here. This Raven's, above you, not too far above you, like maybe, 6 or 7 feet.
All right, we're gonna do some monk shit.
All right, do some monk shit.
On the jump up, we're gonna hit 2 hits with the feet, and then come back down with 1 punch to the Raven's head.
Ooh, all right, roll them up. Boom, all right. So you come leaping up with this punch in the air at this Raven that's flying above you, connects, and you hear this little as this Raven, who didn't see you coming at all, because it was completely enthralled by these little sparkling lights that were going on in the air above your head here. It's kind of majestic as you jump up into the air. You got all these kind of sparkling lights going on around you. Kind of gives you a kind of a cool aura going on. But this Raven lets out this little squawk, and then it kind of just almost immediately kind of plummets out of the air, and you get kind of a little as it hits the sand below, and almost immediately you hear a bell go off, and the crowd starts going wild, cheering for you. You see, some people in the crowd looking a bit dejected at the odds that were on you not going in their favor. But there's a few other people that look pretty fucking happy right now as you come landing back down in the sand with these kind of sparkles dissipating around you here, Torta.
Oh, I'm gonna make sure I land on the Raven too.
Oh, here you go. You land on this Raven with kind of a satisfying little crunch, with the sparkles kind of dissipating around you as you come down. It looks pretty badass.
Now, the badger's hat, is it still on his head, or did it fly off of him when he went down?
It did fly off of him, but it's not too far away. It's kind of on the northern end of the ring, kind of against the edge.
Cool, I'm gonna go get his hat.
All
No,
right.
Nix is just gonna say, "Hold on, Jinku," and he's gonna tell his familiar what he wants him to do, and to go grab the hat. So his familiars can go running across the ring and grab the hat.
Oh, thanks, man.
All right. So this little
And then she'll put this hat on when it comes back, and I'm sure it like does not fit her at all.
oh no, at all. It's like it's almost like putting a thimble on your head. This little fez. Um,
Cool. I bet I look great.
small
I
small
love it.
accents. All right, so Torta Boo, the crowd's cheering. You see some of the people at the tables. Uh, some of them had various like small bits of food. Some of them were kind of throwing it into the ring in like kind of celebratory. And Kellen kind of leads you back out of the ring, and allows you to kind of go and take a seat. He kind of leads you over to like the tables on the southern end of the place here, and you see him like writing some notes in here. It seems like he's kind of doing a little bit of bookie work as he takes you over there, taking notes of some of the people who'd won and lost and things like that. All right. So, Torta Boo, you guys have won your round. So we'll put you in here. Duh, business. Men. And after he gets you kind of seated over here, he goes over and puts your names next bracket down on the wall. All right, so next up, he goes back over to his place over on the western side and starts calling out for the next round. And you see him raise his hand to the one side and call out for the prismatic fists. And out of the back room, you see, you kind of hear this slow clanking sounds. And you see these two pretty hefty-looking Warforged come lumbering out of the back. One of them is like a shimmering, like most of his body, most of his like metallic bodywork, at least, is kind of painted a shimmering blue. And the other one behind him, similarly, the metal parts of his frame are kind of a shimmering yellow. And at least from the looks of them, they seem to be kind of done up in some sort of monk type attire. But they come lumbering out here and make their way to the corner. And then he calls out for the knife tongues. And as he does this, you hear kind of a joyous shout come out from the hallway behind, and there's like this explosion almost of kind of pyrotechnics that come shooting out of the hallway behind Kellen. He almost like he kind of jumps a little bit to the side to get out of the way of these kind of like firecrackers and things that are like popping out from behind him. And you see two tieflings come bounding out from the back. One of them is kind of a reddish hued skin, and the other one's kind of got bluish hued skin. They both are kind of dressed in these kind of fanciful outfits, and both of them have instruments. One of them has a lyre, and the other one has mandolin. And like as they come out, like they almost do kind of a slide on their knees as they come out. Both of them like arched back, rocking out on their lyre and their mandolin. And you see them get back up, and the crowd is cheering wildly for these two. And they kind of bound over the ring to the southern corner. So the fight begins with these two, the prismatic fists, kind of slowly in their corner, fists raised. You see them kind of making various poses and things, kind of readying themselves up, aligning their chakras, whatever they need to do. And the knife tongues over here almost immediately break into a furious bout of insults and mocking to tunes on their instruments here, calling out things such as like as you guys are all sitting here amongst the fighting here, you hear insults such as harpsichord or mandolin, your ancestors all married kin. You hear things like let's see here. Let's see. With the other one, the other tiefling you hear him like call out at one point, "You impress me with your might, like an ogre, but half as bright." And like as this is going on, like they're breaking out these pretty intense chords on their lyre and their mandolin, and like amidst the various like kind of purposeful punches you're seeing from the prismatic fists here that do get a hit in every once in a while on these two, they seem to be getting their butts handed to them quite handily with the power of words by these two seemingly rambunctious bards. And after not too long, after a few minutes of this goes on, eventually you see the prismatic fists kind of slumping over on the ground in defeat. Like, you see these clanking noises. They're kind of, you can see them kind of almost falling to pieces a little bit. One of them's kind of holding its head on either side, has kind of a pained expression on its face, and these two bards just continue laying into them with insult after insult. And the round eventually ends, and it is called, the bell rings, and it is called for the knife tongues for the second match. And the other two are kind of hauled off outside of the ring in a pile. Which brings us to the third round.
I call bullshit on that round.
I mean, hey, you made a good bet on the first round, so.
Yeah, but how the fuck do you do word damage to robots?
That's a really
Hey.
good question.
The power of words is very strong.
Warforged have feelings too.
Lies. They weren't created with feelings.
Maybe
Wow.
those ones were.
During that whole round, I'm kind of looking at Jinko why she hasn't realized that a familiar sitting on the end of her snout, just staring in her eyes.
I don't think that would bother her, even if she did notice it.
All
And
right.
then he starts running up and down her snout like, come on, please.
Right. So while that all was going on there, like, was there anything else that you all were up to out here in the side of the ring, or were you guys mostly just kind of watching the show?
I was watching and enjoying my new hat.
There you go. All right.
I was discussing. Well, first thing Boo did at the end, like as the last fight was kind of starting,
Yeah.
we leaned down over to Torta, and I say, "Hey, you did a pretty good job. I don't have to do all the work when you're around. It looks like."
He just kind of smiles and bristles all the muscles.
Well, let's keep it up, and maybe we can win this thing.
All
And I
right.
asked Boo if he can spot any other wizards in the crowd. Magic users.
I'll look around, but I'll look back at him and I'll tap one of the 3 spell books that I have. I think I carry 2 of them. And I'll tap my spell book and I'll say, I didn't prepare anything to detect anything magical, so unfortunately I'll have to keep my eyes open and see if I can see something. Maybe we should split up. I'll go over to the other side of the ring. If I talk to you, answer me in your mind. Don't yell, okay?
He'll shrug. Okay.
And then I'll go sit over on the other side of the ring and just observe.
Okay. All right. So while this is going on, like the ring's getting prepared for the next match here, and eventually Calm stands up and heads over to the western end of the ring here, ready to call out the next round of fighters here. So this round, he begins. He kind of again raises his hand to the left of him here, and calls out, "Next up in this feast of violent delights tonight, we have Togruk, Weak Eater." And you hear like the crowd pretty wildly start cheering. Um, and you see coming out from behind him here in the hallway this very, very large, height-wise, orc. And you actually recognize him a bit. When you were, coming to the Fight Club earlier in the evening, there was an orc that was sitting down at the meetup spot that was kind of working on his weapon, kind of shining it up there, that you would talk to for a bit. And you recognize him as this orc. And, being that he was sitting there pretty much the whole time, and then you all eventually kind of headed off, you didn't really get any, and most of the time he was kind of slumped over working on his weapon. You didn't really notice his height before. But this guy is like probably a good 8.5 feet tall. And he comes out from the back here with this massive battle axe. And right behind him is a group of 5 little goblins. And they, come out behind him almost like a little worshipful entourage of sorts. And all of them are kind of cheering him on. You hear him being like, "Yeah, Togric, beat him up. We believe in you. Yeah." And, Togric is absolutely stone-faced. Like, when you saw him before, like, he, was kind of, had his clothes on, things like that. But now, like, he's pretty literally just wearing, like, these kind of rough shorts. And his chest is just, like, covered in, like, battle scars. And, like, just looks absolutely brutal. It looks like this guy has been through some shit and done some shit. And so he comes out with this little entourage of goblins cheering on behind him, and he and these goblins kind of get in the ring here on the upper corner. And he kind of stands in front of them all, like the 5 of them are all almost kind of cowering together behind him, but continuing to just kind of, give whatever sort of moral support that they're there for. And then Callan kind of turns and calls out to the other door, "The birds of war!" And you see, kind of looking up the hallway, you see 3 pretty average-looking human guys come out from the back here. And all of them seem to be wearing kind of crudely made Aarakocra costumes of sorts. They've got like all these like kind of feathers and things attached to their arms. Kind of looks like wings. They got these maybe they're made out of like paper mache. You weren't really sure. These little bird-looking heads sitting on top of their heads. And as they are coming out from the back hallway here, they kind of start up this kind of chant as they're coming out, and you hear them being like, and trying to get like everybody riled up with this like stomp and clapping that they're doing. And as they get into the ring, they kind of get into their little corner on the bottom right side, and they're kind of continuing with this. And eventually they kind of bust out with this. "This eagle's born out of thunder. He flies through the night. Don't you mess with his eggs now, or you'll see us fight. Ah, yes, we have feathers. Ah, but the muscles of men. Ah, 'cause we're birds of war now. Ah, but we're also men, birds of war." And
I love you.
and the crowd is like, most of the crowd is mostly laughing at them at this, because it's kind of a ridiculous display, because these 3 guys, like, aside from these get-ups, look average as fuck. Like, one of them's got like a beer belly going on, and it's not particularly impressive. It seems to be mostly more of an entertainment spectacle going on. But they eventually kind of calm down. They continue kind of hyping themselves up in the corner here, and the match begins. The bell ringing, and as the match starts, you see Togric. continues to just stand there, completely like stoic, just kind of glaring down at these. Yeah, definitely hydrate after that one. Ugh. So you see Toker just kind of staring down at his opponents here, from his height. Just kind of this intense glare in their direction, and this whole time, like the five little goblins around him, just being like, "Toker, Toker, 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 eat them, eat them, eat them, eat them," and like as time goes by, you just see like Toker stare. Like he doesn't take any strikes. He doesn't seem to do anything aside from just stand there with this increasingly intense stare on his face. And like Jinku, Mix, Torta, you're kind of sitting down in that bottom corner opposite him, and you can almost kind of feel it a bit. Like it's intense. Like you're feeling the heat, and you're not even in the ring, of this guy like staring into your soul. And like the other three of the birds of war, like they're intermittently kind of coming up and trying to like take smacks at him, and not really doing much damage, or much of anything. They seem to be somewhat more of there for show, it almost seems. And eventually one of them, um, like the one that's kind of more towards the back from the other two of his compatriots, like after a few minutes of this kind of almost intense silence of this staring, one of them just kind of starts screaming and All right. Welcome back.
I need more money, Jinku.
Welcome
Oh,
back to
is
the
it?
Bloodshot Eye.
It's the fight for Mix and Jinku, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So, Mix, Jinku, you guys have been led back to the southern ready room back here. And, things are getting put together for the last of this first round of bracket matches for the night. And the rest of you that are out here still, Torta, Zara, and Boo, you see Callan again getting up in position over here on the western side to call out the participants. And he begins motioning to his right here and calls out the lethal weapons. Mix, Boo, Mix, Jinku, was there anything in particular you wanted to kind of ready yourself with in that back room there, or are you just hyping yourself
Mix
up
is
and
gonna look at Jinko and be like, walk 10 feet behind me. So he's gonna stay 10 feet in front of her. And the whole way out, as soon as they step out of the room, he's gonna start casting thunderclap every time he claps. And it's gonna sound like a lightning bolt just struck where he was standing.
cool?
And like dust and everything flying in the air.
Nice. Nice.
Damn.
All
When
right.
it all finishes
Well,
and he stops, I use prestidigitation to make it sound like he lets loose like a really wet fart.
Oh my god. And before we went back in the room, I would have very discreetly asked Diara to hold on to my new hat.
Oh, okay. So Sarah, you currently have the Badger Fez.
Oh, and
Don't lose it.
as we walk out, Mix's weasel familiar is like doing acrobatic tricks between Jinku's tusks.
Nice. All right. I like it. Good shit. All right. So you guys come out here. Thunderbolts coming down around you. Jinku, you're kind of strutting out here with this little weasel doing tricks between your tusks here. Looks pretty cool. Again, like since you're newcomers, you've got various people in the crowd cheering you on, some others jeering. Yeah, nobody knows what to think of you guys yet. And then Kelm calls out for the Breaker, and this kind of hush goes over the crowd. And you see, looking up the hallway from behind you here, you see a very elderly looking halfling come slowly up the hallway here. He has kind of a walking stick with him. He seems to be leaning on pretty heavily. And, he comes out, makes his way to the ring, gets inside, and then just kind of sits calmly on the little seat on the opposite side. And he's, being a halfling, he's, much smaller than both of you, especially you, Jinku. But there is this weird fucking aura coming off this guy. And like Boo, you can kind of feel it too. Like you're sitting over there, you're kind of sitting up in his corner. And when he comes in and like sits down, like you just kind of feel this like intense presence almost in your head. And it seems like some of the other people that kind of around you kind of feeling it too. Like some of them are kind of seeming to trying to back away a little bit, maybe scoot up to the next row of seats. He's giving off some vibes.
Mix. I think we might die.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I call for a bookie and put 20 gold on the breaker.
All right. All right, Boo. 20 gold on the breaker. All right. See, Sarah, Torta, you guys doing anything before we get going?
Yeah, did you check your DM?
Oh, yes, I did. So, Torta, you kind of went poking around down here while things were getting set up. And you actually kind of went and checked out some of these rooms over to the east end of this. And some of these seem to be kind of storage rooms for various like implements. They might do like other types of fights here from time to time. And you find a kind of little barrel, like kind of a little small kind of hand cask, easily carryable, that looks to be filled with grease.
I'm gonna find the little urchin child that's like running dishes or whatever for the tables and have him drop it on the corner.
Okay. On like the breaker's corner, I'm assuming.
No, the opposite corner.
Oh, on Mix and Jinku's corner. All right.
And then I'm just gonna sit back down and watch.
All right. All right. So this kid takes this from you and manages to kind of to spill it. Like it has like a little hole on one end of the cask there, and he kind of like drops the cask on the ground next to like the seat there, and like this grease just kind of starts kind of leaking out slowly behind them in that corner there. So Jinku, you and Mix, go ahead and roll up your initiative.
Moog.
Yep.
Sarah is gonna cast Detect Magic.
Okay. Let's see. Hold on, let me look at that spell and see if what that detects particularly. Okay. So, Zara, you cast Detect Magic. And the feeling that you get is you get kind of an aura of magic. Like you feel like an aura of that kind of coming off of Mix, of course. Him being a warlock. But you also get an aura of magic kind of coming off this breaker guy. And it seems to be of kind of an evocation type of magic that you're feeling coming off of this guy. Okay.
I assume that Boo still has the Sending Stone from when I talked to him earlier.
I assume so. Unless he gave it away.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you take it or did I keep it?
No, you had it. I just like yelled at you about how to use it.
Ah,
How
okay,
use
then
the
Tortoise
Sending
still has
Stone.
it.
I've got
Okay.
magic that I didn't have to trade anything for. I learned it.
Alright, so yeah, Tortoise still has the Sending Stone.
Okay, well, I'm gonna at least tell Torta what I'm sensing.
Okay. Alright, so Tortoise, she lets you know that she's sensing evocation magic off of this little elderly halfling guy.
I'll sit there and stare and focus really hard, like veins popping out of the forehead. Thanks. But not say anything this time.
Very nice. Alright, so Jinku, oh, you guys already rolled. Okay, cool. Alright, so Jinku, looks like you are up first in the round order. This the bell goes off. This elderly halfling kind of slowly stands up as the bell goes off, and he just kind of stands there with his hands on his cane across the ring from you, just kind of silently.
Cool. Yeah, he makes me feel like I'm probably not going to get out of here alive, but hey, I came here to fight, so I'm going to run at him and attack with my flail.
All right. Awesome. Thank you for that follow, by the way. Appreciate it. All right, so Jinku, you come running across here with your flail, striking down at this little dude. and you get a pretty good thwack in on this guy. Your flail comes swinging around, smacks him across the side, doing a bit of damage to him here. And he kind of winces. You hear this kind of like, "Ugh," this kind of old man oof come out of him here as he gets struck with this. And then it is his turn.
Oh god, I'm gonna die.
So he why can't I? There we go. All right, so Mix, Jinku, you both feel this wave, this massive wave of some sort of force come blasting out in front of this guy. And Mix, like you're far enough away that you manage to kind of shake yourself off from it a bit. It's this kind of it seems to almost like kind of wave through your mind, almost this wave of force. But Jinku, you take a real hefty blast from this as this gets to you, and I shouldn't have done full damage to you, Max. I don't think. Hold on. Let me read the description of this. Let's see. I'm gonna save. Yeah, okay. Take 10 of that damage off of yourself, Mix. You should have only taken half on that. Looks like it didn't apply that properly. But Jinku, so you get blasted with this massive wave of mental force out of this guy, and you get knocked backwards away from him and go bouncing off the back barrier of the ring here, and then after bouncing off that back ring, land prone on the ground from this blast. And you're kind of looking up from the ground trying to recover from this, and like Mix, you're still like you took a little bit of damage from this, but like you were still standing. And you see like this guy still just standing there. Like he hasn't even moved. Like you didn't see anything move when this happened. It just like boom out through your head. Which brings us to Mix. You've just seen Jinku get thrown across the ring somehow by this little elderly halfling.
Mix is gonna cast an Eldritch Blast.
'Kay.
At him.
All right.
Oh damn.
Oh, oof. All right, so Mix, you try to, crackle this Eldritch Blast out of your hand, but whatever this mental blast that wafted through your head here a moment ago, you're still trying to like shake off the bit of damage that you did take, and you're probably not feeling your full self at the moment. And that Eldritch Blast just kind of fizzles in your hand as you're trying to outstretch it in his direction. Anything else?
No, nothing else I can do.
Okay. All right. So that brings us then to Zara and Boo and Torta. So you guys are sitting out here. Zara, Jinku just bounced off the cables of the ring like right next to you here. Boo, Torta, you're on either end. You saw this happen as well. What are you three doing, thinking?
Twitter's cheering for the breaker. Woo! Get
I
on!
can't even blame him, honestly. Being like, shit.
Yeah, Boo's just, hanging out, smoking his little dragon pipe, observing. Like I said, in Boo's mind, at this point, we're not a party. We're like Torto's on my team, but these guys are, they're on a bracket. They're gonna end up against me. So, I don't give a shit. I'm just enjoying a fight. I'll call for a couple drinks.
All right. That's great. That's great. All right, and the rest of the crowd, as this is going on, let's see. So the like you can hear the crowd around you here, kind of start like the cheers for like the breaker kind of start growing from because you know, most of them were almost kind of silently kind of anticipating things before, but you know after seeing this this Loxodon getting blasted across the ring here, um, like everybody in here is just like starts going off for this little halfling here, which brings us to get through everybody here. Mix, you're up first this time in this round.
Mix is going to run across the ring
Mm-hmm.
towards the breaker.
Okay.
He's going to pat him on the head like a little baby, and then he's going to thunder step immediately back where he was.
All right. Nice. Hoo hoo hoo. Nice. All right. So Mix,
And as a bonus action, he's going to flick him off.
beautiful, beautiful. All right, so you cast this thunder step that you'd been kind of doing a little, somewhat of before as you're making your entrance here earlier, and so that's just like a kind of like a little lightning strike of sorts or something, right? I don't think I've seen that spell before.
No, it's a very loud thunder blast that affects a 5-foot area, and then I immediately can jump 300 feet any direction I want to.
Holy crap, that's pretty cool. Nice. All right, so this thunderous sound goes off here, like immediately above the breaker's head, and Boo, you're right up here on this side of the ring, and kind of reverberates in your ears too. Like you're a little more than 5 feet away, so you don't take any damage from it, but it's still kind of ringing in your ears, and this everybody's ears in this underground Fight Club cavern here. And you see this breaker guy, kind of falter back a little bit and catch himself on his other foot and kind of stand back up straight from this. But he seems to be kind of leaning a bit more heavily on his staff here than he was before. Which brings us to Jinku. You're lying on the ground.
Yeah. I forget to get up. Is that my action or my movement?
I don't remember. Is getting up from prone a movement or an action? Quick.
Getting up from prone in 5e is half your movement and can provoke an attack of opportunity, I believe.
Okay, so yeah, so it's movement, and he's not right
Okay.
next to you, so you're not going to provoke any
That's
attacks.
fine. That's all I need to know. I just need to make sure it didn't use my action, or that would have changed my idea. So I will get up,
Okay.
and I'm going to do something I don't normally do.
Ooh.
Jinku's going to try some of her magic, and I'm going to do acid splash at him.
Ooh, very nice. All right. Breaking out the new moves.
Son of a bitch!
Is that one a cantrip, or does it do half
Yeah.
damage on success?
No, it's a cantrip.
Ah, damn. All right, so you get up. You're still kind of wavering a bit. This blasted you hard in the head, and you've been blasted hard in the head before. But this time it doesn't seem to have left any permanent damage that you could tell.
Yeah, I got a big head.
Yeah. there's a lot of space in there for things to bounce around and come back okay. So so you let off this acid splash in his direction, but it doesn't seem to quite connect. You're still kind of reeling a bit from what happened before.
I imagine it's probably like this really like horrible brown color, and like not even really like a ball. It's just kind of like a blob.
It's kind of like a splurt.
Yeah, pretty much. Jinko hasn't really worked much on her magic.
I love it. That is fantastic. All right. Which brings us to the breaker. So this halfling, he's kind of leaning a bit on his staff here, and you took a good, you did a big chunk of him there, Mix, with your thunder step, and he kind of looks in your direction and kind of lets out this little. You see like a little smile flash across his face here, and let's see. Let me pull this one up here. All right. So you feel like this wave of energy come through your mind again. A little different than last time, Mix. But you manage. You have the wisdom, it seems, to withstand it, and you still do. You still do feel a bit of this psychic damage ripping through you here. I don't know why it's not marking success or failure on these. So take 9 of that off, and only take 8 damage from that Mix. I don't know why that's not doing it right.
What was I at before?
Yeah, you had 9 before this.
So 16. Okay.
Yep. Okay. So, yeah. So this kind of this wave comes through you here, but you manage to resist whatever other effects it seems to do. But you still take a bit of psychic damage from that. And this guy still is just kind of standing there with his cane. Hasn't really moved aside from when you knocked him back a little bit. Which brings us to those of you out in the ring, or outside of the ring. Torta, Zara, Boo. What are you guys up to?
Drinking, smoking, cheering on the breaker.
All right.
Yeah, I'm still cheering.
Okay. And what about you, Zara?
I think at the moment I'm just watching.
Just watching? Okay. All right. So as you are all sitting there, there's a guy kind of sitting up in kind of the second row, kind of up behind you, Jinku. And he chucks an empty bottle in your direction, Jinku, from the crowd. Do a dexterity saving throw for me, Jinku. Nice. Okay, just enough. All right, so you manage to, you kind of hear this drunkard stand up and kind of making some jeers in your direction behind you. And out of the corner of your eye, just in time, you see this beer bottle come flying past you and then kind of just thunk into the sand next to you here. You managed to kind of move your leg out of the way just in time before that struck. All right, let's see. That brings us to, looks like Jinku, you're up first this time.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a hand axe at him.
All right. Ooh, that hits. Very nice. All right, so you throw this hand axe across. What are you aiming for?
Kneecap.
Kneecaps. All right. So this hand axe goes flying across the ring here, and strikes this old guy squarely in the knee, and he pretty quickly goes down onto that knee. Like he's still kind of holding himself up, like his upper half up with this staff that he's leaning on here, but he is on one knee on the ground. He doesn't seem to be looking too hot, but still holding himself up here. Which brings us to the Breaker, who, let's see here. He lets out, oops. He kind of turns in your direction, Jinku. And again, you kind of feel this kind of wave building, into your direction. And Jinku, you manage to withstand it, but Zara, this, like, you feel this too where you're standing. You're kind of standing almost right behind Jinku, and you feel this wave of powerful mental energy come like blasting out of this guy. And Jinku, you take only 11 damage from that. But Zara, you get blasted back to the back side, like the back wall of this kind of little enclosure here, and are knocked prone onto the ground. And like the patrons around you here are laughing, they're jeering. Like you're on the ground here. You've taken 22 psychic damage from this old guy. And you're kind of lying there, humiliated on the ground. You managed to keep a hold on the hat. You still got the fez in your hand.
Thank God.
Thank God. That's what matters. Say, all right, whatever. The hat's okay. So, so you're lying on the ground there, feeling a bit dazed. And Jinku, you're feeling it a bit too, but not quite as bad this time. You didn't get knocked backwards. Which brings us to Mix.
Mix is gonna try to do another Eldritch Blast at this guy.
All right. Oh. So you let off this Eldritch Blast again here, and in his direction, and like, well, this guy is kind of wobbling on his stick here and on one knee from the hand axe he's got in, and he manages to kind of lean out of the way just in time as this crackles past and strikes the kind of little stone seat in the corner there. Which brings us to Boo and Torta and Zyara. What are you guys doing out here? Zara, you just got heckin' mind blasted against the wall. Weren't even in the fight. What are you doing?
I'll move over to Zyara,
Mhm.
like look at her. She looks on the ground and appears to be unconscious. And I'll
Oh, she's not unconscious. She's still like awake.
I was making a joke because she didn't answer.
Oh.
And I'll poke her a couple times and offer her a potion of healing.
Okay.
You want this? You look like you could use it.
She takes it.
All right. And those do, how much do those do?
Let me look before I delete it. It's 2d4 plus 2, Zyara.
Okay. So Zara, go ahead and roll yourself 2d4 plus 2. And give yourself some healing as you kind of pick yourself up off the ground here. Torta,
That's the best I can do, Claire.
Torta, are you just still cheering on the breaker in the corner there?
Oh hell no! Seeing that it's starting, the damage is starting to hit outside the ring, he's gonna hop up here, just climb straight up the wall and peer far from the ledge.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So that brings us down to the next round here. Ooh. And the breaker is up first. So this old guy, still leaning on his cane or his stick here, he, continues looking in your direction, Jinku, and you feel like another kind of this invisible wave head your direction. Ooh. And another blast of energy, a little different than before. Not quite as strong as last time, but still disrupts through your mind here. And you take another 11 damage from this. And ooh, that'll be interesting. Okay. Which brings us to Mix.
Mix is debating whether he wants to go over there and thunderstep him again or something else. Doesn't have many spell slots outside of cantrips, so he's gonna try his Eldritch Blast one more time.
All right.
Because it does a lot of damage.
Afraid of the luck gods. Let's see what we get. Ooh, it hits.
And I cast 2 beams, so I get to grow damage twice.
Oh, sick. That's awesome. Oh!
Don't even have to.
Nice. All right.
Thank Christ, because I was about dead.
All right, so Mix, you finally get this Eldritch Blast off successfully, and it crackles across here, striking into this old halfling guy who kind of crumples silently onto the ground, and the ground dings, and you guys advance.
Mix is going to use 3 of his healing light dice on Jinku.
And Jinku's gonna go pull her hand axe out of the guy's kneecap.
So Jinko gets to heal for 13.
Okay. Oop. Yeah. Excuse me, cat. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
What the hell? She's really hurt. So, what's that after 13, Jinko?
What's the what?
28 would be my. So that's only about half my life.
Mix is going to cast his other 3 healing die.
Ooh, nice roll. Very nice.
Thanks, buddy.
All right,
Be
so
better than 12. Should be like 6.
I was like almost dead.
Damn.
all right, let me just get this here. So yeah, you guys, pick yourselves up. You're looking a little beaten, worn from this, but you made it through, and the bell rings, and you can almost hear as the crowd begins to cheer for you here. You can almost feel a sense of relief from the crowd as well. It seems a lot of them were kind of freaked out by this guy. And you guys managed to make it through whatever shit he had going on there. You're not entirely sure what was happening. All right. So.
Mix is going to find the tiefling and say, I need a bed. I need to rest until my next round.
And Jinko will go get her hat back from Zyara.
All right. So, in terms of rest, so as the place down here kind of prepares for the semifinals here. They do allow those of you that are still left to kind of ready yourselves with a short rest. So we'll let that. Here we go.
Oh. Damn it. Oh, well, I get my spell slot back, but I don't get my die back.
So yeah, so go ahead and those of you that are injured or whatever, feel free to take whatever you want to do for your short rest. As you all are kind of they're kind of cleaning up the ring here. There's still some some blood or parts or things or whatever from the first couple rounds here, and so they're kind of retidying it up. And people are getting another round of drinks or whatever else they're doing as we go into the next part. So you guys, go ahead.
Trudeau's gonna hop down and run next to Boo, and be like, "Man, they almost died to an old dude. They're not gonna be able to fight us."
No. No, they are not.
Mix is gonna mind link with Jinku and say, "Good job. He was hitting harder than anything I've ever seen."
All right, so as you guys are kind of milling about here, you see Kellen going over to that kind of large piece of slate on the wall and like writing down the next brackets here. So it's the semifinals, 2 matches. One of them is the Businessmen versus the Knife Tongues. And then the other matchup is Togric Weak Eater versus the Lethal Weapons. All right, so we'll go ahead and get into first round of the semifinals here. So, Kellen comes and finds Torta Boo as you guys are in the crowd, drinking whatever you're doing, and, motions for you all to go and prepare for your round. So you two head back into the ready room to the south. And the rest of you are still out here doing whatever it is you want to do with the crowd. Jinku, Zara, Mix, you guys getting up anything besides just taking a breather?
Do I see my opponents anywhere?
Togric?
Yep.
Yeah, you do see him down on. He's at one of the tables down at the southern end of the place. Again, with his little goblin entourage around him, almost continually lauding him with compliments and praise, it seems. And you can see him kind of sullenly, downing some tankard or something or other.
What's a hit against him?
Like, what's his AC or what?
Yeah, Mix is gonna start to walk up the stairs. As soon as he sees him, he's gonna try to hit him with a drow dart.
Okay. Well, you can certainly give it a try. Here, I'll put his token on so you can target him, and we'll see if that hits.
Oh, man.
Holy fuck! No way!
I really didn't think that was gonna work.
That was awesome!
He is down and out. Like, he's not
Holy
waking back up
shit!
tonight. With a crit, they can't even wake him up.
Christ.
Holy cow! Okay, so you let out this blow dart, and it comes zipping across quietly across the southern end of this place, and sticks like pretty much right into the back of this guy's neck, and almost immediately you see him like slump forwards in his chair, and the 5 goblins that are around him are all kind of being like, Togric, hey, wake up, buddy, we got a match you gotta win, come on, wake up. And they're trying to like shake him and get him awake here, but he is pretty soundly out for the moment, it seems. So with that, what was that? Like that was like a sleep potion or something that was on that, right?
No, it was drow poison.
Oh, drow poison. Okay. Let's see. Hold on, let me look that up. Drow.
Oh, if it's drought,
He has
you just
he
gotta
has a
make
DC
this-
13 Constitution saving throw. But I believe on a critical hit, he can't withstand it.
Yeah, let's see. Yes, he becomes unconscious because of that. Because that was a crit. Nice. Nice. That worked out real nice. All right.
Mix is going to continue walking to the bar and order an ale.
There you go. Order drink. Wait till it all blows over. All right. So yeah, these goblins are continuing to try to wake up their dude over here in the corner. But meanwhile, out here, Keln stands up, gets ready to call out the next round here. And he raises his arm and calls out for the businessmen.
Whereas Booth is ready to do the jump and again.
At least he asked this time.
All right, let's do it.
Do the same thing. Get 35 feet away from the center of the ring. 25-foot jump, leap into the air, and land in the middle.
Nice. All right, so you come again doing this flying leap. And, the patrons seem a lot more receptive to it this time. Seeing as you've gotten through, one round taking down an opponent, it's a lot more cheers than there were last time around. And you kind of land in the middle of the ring, flex into whatever it is you do to show off. And calls out for the knife tongues. And again, these two tieflings come out from their room, again with another kind of blast of pyrotechnics and kind of wild sounds coming out of their instruments here. Oops, that was the wrong thing to add to the sheet. Get these guys on the map here. All right. So they come out, they're kind of riling up the crowd, pumping out some hot, sick riffs, and make their way over to their corner of the ring. And the bell sounds. Boo, Torta, go ahead and roll up your initiative so we can see where you end up in that order. All right, very nice. Okay, so Torta, looks like you are up first in this round. What are you doing?
I'm going to take a second to look at these two, call them out with a nice flex and grin. Y'all ain't got a chance. The businessmen are here. I look at Boo for his line.
And I'll say, doing business. I'll raise my hands, jazz hands.
I love it. That's great. All right, Torta. What are you doing on your turn?
I'm gonna hold my action until they advance on me.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. All right. Boo, how about you? Looks like you're up next.
Still smoking the pipe. I will sit down and scratch my familiar behind the ears again, and then I'll blow the pipe out from the stem while leaning down a little bit so that the charcoal and shit kind of flies towards Tulio and Miguel. And it will expand as it does so.
Oh, snap. Coming right out of the gate with the big
And then
gun.
I'll look at Torta and I'll say, dinner's cooked. Let's do this.
Oh, nice. All right. So Boo comes out of the gate with this fireball cast from his pipe, and that whole side of the arena kind of bursts into flame around these two bards. You can see them kind of writhing in agony a bit at this. Some of the patrons behind that corner are kind of reeling back a bit, trying to go up the stone stairs a little ways. One of the ones that was nearby that maybe spilled a little too much alcohol in his pants. His pants are on fire. Kind of slapping it madly. A couple of his friends kind of helping him out, trying to slap his pants out. What a opener to the match. So that brings us to Tulio. So Tulio, he comes, still kind of seemingly wincing from the pain here. Let's see here. second here. Where? There we go. So he kind of steps forward from his friend a little bit, kind of moves towards you a little, and you see him raise his mandolin here and kind of start furiously strumming on it in your direction. And he starts spitting some hot fire in your direction. Wanna cause pain? No, no, think again. I be targeting your brain like mental strain, driving you insane, subtract no gain to attacks you claim. And you feel this kind of burst of wordplay come off in your direction here, Boo and Torta. Oop, come on. There we go. All right. And you feel.
I'll pass that save. I'll use my reaction to add 4 to my save.
Oh, very nice. Okay, cool. So you would only take half damage then, Boo.
Okay, I'll fix that.
Okay. So only 6 instead of 12. So you feel this kind of thunderclap erupt between the two of you and this loud noise at the end of these sick bars from Tulio here. And you take a bit of damage from that. At the end of his turn, Miguel step. Oh, go ahead.
As soon as he attacks, I jump into action.
That's right. You did
Do
have that.
Do the Torta signature jump, and we're gonna pound him from behind.
All right, pound him. Ooh. Ooh. Ah, 2 misses. But
Ow.
got a hit in at least. All right. Got one good hit in on the guy as you come leaping forward. He isn't looking too great between the fireball and your strikes. So, Miguel, he steps up as well. And you see him kind of step up next to his friend here and begins playing on his lyre here. And you hear him. Let's see. Hold on. Let me find my notes here. So he starts playing on his lyre here, and you hear him call out to his friend here, "Rise and take this heal, for all the better you will feel." And you see this kind of healing light come around Tulio here as he takes a little bit of healing from that. Which brings us to the crowd. Zara, Jinku, and Mix. What are you all up to out here?
I'm just going back to spectating, just enjoying the fight.
Okay.
Mix is acting very innocent and drinking his ale at the bar.
Yep. Togrick is still very, very out at the table in the corner from your blow dart here. And the crowd, let's see what they're up to.
I had something I was
Oh.
gonna do.
Sure, go ahead, Zara. What do you got?
Sarah is going to sneak cast minor illusion again.
Okay, what are you doing?
She is gonna have the Birds of War theme song play on repeat really loudly with like raven cawing sounds put over it to interrupt their sick rhymes.
Nice. Okay. All right, so you kind of surreptitiously cast this here, and you know it's already kind of noisy in here with the crowd and the fighting and the explosions and whatnot. But like over the top of it, you kind of get this like high-pitched falsetto screeching going on of the Birds of Prey theme song, um, complete with stomps and claps and everything. And it kind of rings out over the arena here, kind of getting in the way of what these bards are up to. All right, so next round here. Torta, looks like you're up first again.
All right, we're gonna unleash hellfire on him again with these knuckles.
Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Nice. That fireball did work on these guys. All right, so you let out a punch here and managed to not only take Tulio down, but break the neck of his mandolin in the process. And he kind of crumples over to the floor. Some of like the residual heat from this fireball. It seems like he's kind of like modified this mandolin a bit. There's like some various pyrotechnics of sorts kind of strapped to it. And some like the residual heat from this fireball, he has like a spark. He lands on the ground like a little sparkler. Is like going off out of the end of his mandolin here, and he is down. And you hear Tulio kind of let out a shout in his direction. Those other two strikes, are you able to hit someone else with those, or do those just not happen because you're not like in range of that guy? Not quite
I'm
sure
not
how
in
that.
range, but we're gonna slide up behind him just to be ready for the next fight.
Okay, sounds like a plan. All right, so Tulio is out. All right, which brings us to Miguel. So Miguel seems pretty anguished at the sight of seeing Tulio go down, and he kind of turns around to you here, and let's see, begins strumming on his lyre. And he kind of puffs his chest up a bit in your direction, Torta, and he starts singing, "Fear not, my friend, do not despair. We'll seize this day, on this I swear." And you see this kind of light come up around Miguel here. And let's see, how much does he add in? Okay, cool. All right, so you kind of see this light kind of swell around him here, some sort of buff or spell increasing his power here seems to be going on. Which brings us to Boo.
I will do. I have to do a cantrip, so I'll do Toll the Dead on Miguel.
Okay. All right. All right, he fails that save and takes a good chunk of damage off of him. Let's see here. All right, that brings us to the rest of you out here. Zara, Jinku, Mix. Are you guys getting up to any shenanigans?
Nope, I'm still just sitting and watching.
Nothing for me.
Nope, Nix is still sipping his ale, acting like nothing happened.
Okay. And Zara, were you doing anything else this time?
Nope. Still just keeping up the Birds of War theme. It lasts for a whole minute, man.
Nice, very nice. All right, so
It is a catchy tune. I imagine Jinky's probably like humming it under her breath.
Nice.
Just like stomping her feet in time to the stomp.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Hold on, something's trying to reset something here. 1 second. Okay, so let's see. Top of the next round. Torta again. Getting good on the initiative rolls this time.
Oh fuck! I've got a plus fucking 7 on initiative, and he's beating me every time.
I get a 6. It's good. We're going to, instead of punching directly at him, we're going to try to punch his mandolin through him.
Ooh, okay. Ooh. Nice. Nice. Ooh.
Last one.
Ooh.
Do it.
Oh, man. Wait, did that damage
That
not
hit,
show
yeah.
up?
Yeah, that,
Oh no.
no, I didn't see that damage. Ooh, just enough. 1 hit point over what you needed. All right. So you start raining punches down on this guy through this guy had a lyre. But you start raining these down through his lyre into him. And, you know, bits of the lyre strings and the wood construction of his instrument are breaking off. And so seems to be his life. And so he goes down for the count, and the bell rings for the businessmen. And the crowd
Doing business.
continues cheering as you guys do your little victory strut, whatever that is.
Oh, we're going to do the Torta signature and jump out the ring.
Nice. Nice. All right. So you guys head out of the ring, and Mix, Jinku, you guys go and get ready in the other room. As this is going on, like Mix, Jinku, you're kind of heading back to that back room, and you see, you know, Togurk is still just down for the count over there in the corner. And, you know, the little goblins are still trying to wake him up. It seems that, like, you see Keln heading over that direction to see if he can do anything. And, you know, eventually you guys get back into your little back room there waiting for the call to happen. The other three of you, like, you guys are out here kind of watching the proceedings. You see Keln trying to, you see him, like, trying to cast some spells, see if he can get Togurk up in time for his fight. But it seems this drow poison is pretty potent stuff. And he still stays down, and you see him kind of conversing with these goblins here, you know, shrugging.
The only thing that would wake him up is a true attack, where it has to get through his AC.
Oh, good to know. Okay. Well, he has pretty high AC, and Keln and these little goblins do not seem to do the trick for that. So you see Keln kind of shrugging in the direction of these goblins, almost being like, well, like, can't really do much for you here, guys. And so you see the group of goblins kind of fearfully making their way towards the back room here, and, you know, getting themselves ready for the fight. Let me get these in here 1 second. Oops. Oopsies. Where did those go? Get these into the sheet. There we go. Okay, so Callan again kind of calls out the teams here calls out for the lethal weapons. So Jinku, Mix, you guys have the call made. What entrance are you guys doing this time?
I'm gonna mind link with Jinku, same thing. I'll walk 10 feet in front of you and thunderclap. So I'm gonna let my full fury loose this time.
Hoo-hoo.
I'm not gonna be gentle. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
That's how Mix is gonna enter the ring. I mean, this is the full thunderclap where it's heard from 100 feet away. And it's deafening for anybody 5 feet away from him.
Yeah, this is just echoing all over throughout this little room down here. And like all the patrons, like they seem to be kind of having to cover their ears a bit. They seem kind of raising their arms whatever they can without trying to spill their drinks. As this kind of
And
reverberates around.
he's gonna step in the middle of the ring and just start smacking his hands together as fast as he can each time with a thunderclap, looking at these goblins. And when he finishes, he's just gonna draw his thumb across his neck and the motion and walk over by Jinku.
Okay. All right. So, he calls for the Togric Weak Eater obviously isn't here, so Kellen isn't really sure what to call this group of just goblins that are here now. And like the 5 of them are over here kind of cowering in the corner. They don't seem to be very sure what to do without their big guy to look up to. And you see them kind of conversing amongst themselves. And, one of them, like they're all kind of, at least a lot of them seem to be kind of, poking at one of them in particular here. And the Mix and Jinku, go ahead and roll your initiatives up here, and we'll see who comes up first. All right. So it looks like the goblins are up first in this. So let's see here. Goblin number 1 is which one? This one. All right. So goblin
He's,
number
right in the corner of the ring.
Yeah, he's the one in the corner. So the one in the corner here, like he seems to be kind of looking towards the one kind of in the front middle here. And he pulls out his sword and he just kind of like turns to his friend and he just kind of seems to start chanting at his friend, being like, Stug, 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 we believe in you. You can do it. Stug, Stug, Stug. And seems to be kind of like trying to pump up his friend here. Goblin number 4, who is the other one in the back corner, joins in, kind of trying to hype up his friend here in the front. Yeah, come on, Stug. Be like Togric. You can do it. Come on, man. Woo! And cheering him on here. Jinku, that brings us to you. These goblins are trying to cheer on one of their dudes over here. What are you up to?
I'm just gonna rush over to Goblin 2 and attack with my flail.
All right. All right, so you come smacking down on this little goblin here who lets out a bit of a yelp and staggers backwards. His 2 friends are kind of holding him up here. And, all the while his 2 friends that caught him here are still trying to cheer him on. Maybe a little bit weaker. You can see their confidence kind of waning a little bit as you smack into him with the flail here. Which brings us to the other 2 goblins. So Goblin 2, sorry. He looks up at you here, Jinku. And, he kind of looks over his shoulder at his 2 friends. And he kind of looks up at you, Jinku. And you see him just kind of start to stare as fiercely as he can at you, Jinku. He gets this kind of weird look on his face. You just kind of get this like, he's kind of squinting his eyes. You can hear these little kind of grunts as he's kind of straining to try to look as menacing as possible in your direction. Give me a wisdom saving throw, Jinku. Okay. So Jinku, you're standing here looking down at this little goblin who's making very strained, almost kind of pained faces at you, trying to look intimidating. And somehow you feel a little bit intimidated, at least. You're not sure why. But for some reason, the tenacity of this little guy, um, you're feeling a little bit intimidated. Not much, not enough to like do anything about it, but you're kind of like, huh, there might be a little something to this guy. And Goblin 3
Yeah,
here.
until he strains too hard and poops himself.
So Goblin 3 here, he also kind of joins in with his other friends chanting, Stug, 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 Stug. And he also moves up a little bit here and tries to strike at you, Jinku. Manages to get a hit in. And you hear like, you feel like a little kind of slash across like your thigh as this goblin strikes at you with his little scimitar here. Mix.
Mix is. I gotta figure out where I can go for this, but I don't want to hit Jinku. So, where's 5 feet away from Jinku?
Well, the squares are 5 feet, so as long as you're not like right next to her, then you should be good. So you could like.
Mix is gonna run up right in the middle of these bastards, right here.
Okay. You're gonna get a couple of attacks of opportunity as you try to run past those front two. So from number 2 and number.
That's okay.
Okay. So number 2. Yep, hold on. Let me get them in here. Sorry. 2 targets. Mix. Strikes. Hits. And number 5. Targets. Strikes. Misses. Oop, that was not supposed to happen. Take that 6 damage back off. That was a misclick. You did not take that damage. Alright, Mix, go ahead and do whatever the heck it is you're doing to these guys.
So, I only have 2 damage?
Yeah, you only have 2 damage.
Okay. Mix is gonna run up in the middle of these guys, and since Jinku's out of range of this, he's gonna thunder step back into his corner, hitting all of them.
Shit. Oh, that's a lot of failures. Oh no. Well.
And he's gonna bounce back into his corner with his finger held up high.
All right. Man, that blow dart saved you a lot of trouble. nice thinking on that one. So yes, this thunder step, erupts amongst the midst of these goblins, and like Jink, you're almost a little blinded by this as this happens. It's right in front of your face, and these 5 goblins, you just hear this cacophony of like little goblin yelps as they kind of like blast in all directions out from Mix. He's like right in the middle of them. So a couple of them, bounce off the rungs of the ring here, and the other 3 kind of fly off in other directions. Number 2, who is right in front of you, comes is ragdoll body kind of smacks into you and then crumples onto the floor. And the bell rings, and you guys are victorious against a surprisingly easy round, thanks to some quick thinking by Mix.
Jinku looks a little sad because she was wanting to get some more hits in.
Well, at least you didn't take as many hits as the last round you guys had. Beating was on your end of the seesaw this time. All right, and so with that bell ringing, the bodies of these goblins are being dragged out. Togurk is still just out in that chair in the corner. No idea what's going on. Nobody's able to wake him up. His AC is just too dang high, and nobody's good enough to smack him, actually. Hard enough to do so. But you see Kellen kind of heading over towards the slate board and writes down the final matchup, which looks to be the businessmen versus the lethal weapons. So this will be interesting. And given that it's almost 11, we're going to have to do that one next time. But before that happens, Callum starts coming around before we do the final match, starting to pay out some of the bets that were taken here. So you bid 25. Let's see, that would be, not entirely sure exactly how this works, but
If I bid 25 and then I carry to the next round,
yep.
whatever my odds were for the next round, so it would be whatever I won off the first round,
Okay.
off of what I carried into the next round. So it would be whatever the winnings of the odds of those 2 rounds would be.
Okay. So if in the second, like if in the second round there, if the odds were like 50-50, like would you at least multiply that by 50 then, or what?
No, those would be 1-to-1, so it'd be even numbers.
They're multipliers.
Oh, okay. So you just get like an additional 1 stack of your money.
You
Yeah.
know,
Well,
yeah. I get
for ease of use, for an example, let's say I place a bet and the odds are
Well,
10
here,
to
so in this case, so Mix on the first round, like he bid 25 gold, and it was 20-1, and he won. So he's got 500 gold right now that rode to the next
you
round.
just multiply 25 times 20, you're good to go.
Okay, yeah. So he had 500 gold from his bet on the first round. So carrying that to, if it was 1-to-1 in the second round, he just get an additional 500 gold, so to 1,000.
Yep.
Nice. Well,
and
Mix,
this is IR.
you fucking made out there. Nice. So Kellen comes around giving the payouts here. So Mix, go ahead and add 1,000 gold. God damn, that's a way to make money there. Into your roster. Zyara, let's see how you worked out. You did 2 gold each. So rounds where they lost, like that's a negative number, right? Against the pot, because they'd have to like pay the bookie, right? Is that how that works? Like if it was 20-1 odds, and you lost the odds.
If it's 20-1, the bookie's taking the risk. So the bookie takes all the risk, so he only gets the original bet.
Right, so she's wiped clear. No winnings.
Nobody wins.
Off of what she wins, she
Okay.
gains.
Okay. So I guess they are in your case, so you would have had 60 then from your wins coming out of the first round. And then in the second rounds, if you kept those writings, you still would have been on the businessmen and lethal weapons. So that would have been another, so 180. Okay. All right, so Zara, you can add 180 gold into your pockets from your successful bets. Here. Nice. All right. And so yeah, next time we'll start out, Kellen will be taking bets for the final matchup. We'll see how that goes. This will be interesting. I've never done.
Is us against each other, right?
That is up against each other. We'll have to see how that goes. I assume you guys are, not going to be to the death.
Why?
Well, I mean, you can, I guess, but.
Do we get another short rest in there where we can roll the rest of our hit die and everything?
Yeah, they let you rest in between. The short rest in between.
Always sissies need rest.
Boo! I just want to mention, I just took out 5 goblins with 1 spell.
Yeah, this will be interesting with Mix and Boo on opposite teams. It's gonna be some
God, yeah.
finally getting to wail on each other. So yeah, I hope you got some money to lay some bets on people. So, all right, so we'll call that good for now. That was interesting. Never done PvP before. We'll see how that goes. Let's see if there's anybody else on doing streams. Let's see here. Come on, Twitch. Load up.
I got a question for you, Moog.
Sure. Looks like Fable Forge is doing stuff.
I could have imagined this, so tell me if I did. I realized I was supposed to get a racial trait at level 5, and I could have swore that we talked about it a little bit, and there was something a little different that I was going to do with that. Or did we not have a talk about that at all?
That vaguely rings some bells.
I'm
sure
going through our DMs and I can't.
Yeah,
find it.
that's where it would be, I would think, unless we just like randomly were talking on like one of our after stream chit chats or something.
That's what I think it was. I thought it was something with my familiar, but I can't remember what it was.
Well, if you find something that you want to do, just let me know, and we'll figure out how that works. So yeah, feel free to look up whatever the heck.
It gives me some options like that I could